The problem with that is when we say let it go, and if we haven't really addressed that issue and buried it, it's still simmering.
You're right.
It's still there. No matter what, it's still simmering. It's still going to be right there.
Right.
It's going to be that awkward moment where you're going to be with homie and everything. He thinks everything's all good, and you're going to look at him and be like,
Yeah.
But it's not going to be the same.
Yeah. Well, that means you really haven't forgiven that person, because unless you can deal with them and not have any harboring resentment or wishing that they get run over by a truck or anything like that, not that I've thought about that, but
that came out a little bit too quick.
Hey, I'm quick sometimes, that's all.
Not like I thought about putting a truck on him or something.
Right, not that I want him to fall off a cliff head first. No, of course not.
And the cliff head first
at maybe Running Canyons, no. By the mountain lines.
Damn it, Fabby.
Wow. Somebody need a hug.
Right? Sometimes people need a taste of their own medicine. But,
a couple people in that closet we don't want to let out, huh?
There's a whole cemetery full of people, okay? But, forgiveness is not for them. It's for you, True. It's for you to release that resentment and welcome peace, because that's what it's therapeutic when you do forgive someone. Is that doesn't mean that you should reestablish the friendship with them. It doesn't mean that. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you're pardoning what they did or giving them a pass. It's basically almost like releasing that hatred, that anger, that resentment, that hurt from you, so then your blessings can come out. Because until you forgive them, it's almost like your blessings get stuck in a closet somewhere and they're not released. You have to release that. You got to release that. And I learned that probably in the last few years. It took me a minute to get it, but once I started doing it, I literally would have my meditation time and pray and list everyone that I forgive for what they've done to me. And I even ask that they're blessed in certain areas in their lives. Like, for example, a person who's a compulsive or habitual liar, I ask my source to bless them in that area so they can be more honest, more truthful. And you'd be surprised that what I noticed happen is that they started, from my observation from just social media, they started changing their ways. They started becoming almost like me. It's almost like, are you mirroring me? Like, I'm like, what is going on? They almost started becoming positive. So it's weird. It's a weird effect what happens to
You
them.
said something interesting there. You said through their social media.
Yes.
So, to ask you that. So, is it truly forgiveness if you haven't reestablished a connection, or maybe not to the same level that you've had before, but the interaction with the person? Because you said you can forgive, but doesn't mean you have to go back into the relationship. True.
Yeah, no.
But can you still have a friendship or?
No, because I don't think forgiveness means that you have to reestablish the friendship.
Okay.
I think it's okay for you to forgive someone and never deal with them again.
Depending on who they are.
Gotcha. Depending on what it is that happened. Because sometimes people, if you let them back into your life, they're only going to do it again. You know what I mean? It's not like just because you forgive them now they're, Mother Teresa, they're the Good Samaritan. They're still that person. So if you let them back in, they're going to do it again. And this time they're going to do it even worse than the last time. My mom used to say that all the time. Every time you forgive someone and you let them back in their life, they're going to do it worse than the last time.
Shout out to Fab's mom.
Yeah, my mom knows. My mom has a lot of wisdom. She knows. Both my parents used to, but now I just have my mom. But she told me that, and it's true. It's true.
So how many times would you forgive someone? Does that mean it's one striking out? That's what I'm getting from your commentary?
No. Every time they ask for forgiveness or they apologize. But sometimes you have to accept an apology that was never given to you.
That's exactly right.
And that happens a lot. And there's a lot of people that's done things to me. They've never apologized. I don't even think they realize they did something. I think they're totally oblivious to their actions because they're so accustomed to being themselves. You know what I mean? So I've never got an apology from no one. I just had to choose to forgive them. Period. Now that's big. It's hard.
That is big. Yeah.
So I have to do it daily to force myself to believe it, and and slowly but surely you'll really start to forget about them. And guess what happens? The world, the universe will bring those people back around. For instance, on my flight to Atlanta for Thanksgiving, I was on a flight with someone that I fell out with. that I used to live with. Yeah.
Get out of here. What are the chances of that?
There is no chance. It was coincidence. It was meant to be.
Look at her face.
It wasn't, because that was my second time seeing him. The first time was at an audition, I think, or at Daniel Hoff or somewhere. So to see him again, I was like, oh, this must mean something. I don't know what this means and what he wants of me, but I felt comfortable when I seen him. I didn't feel no anger. I didn't feel no hate.
Did y'all chat, have a conversation?
Nope. He just like the first time he's like, hey Fab. Then he kind of like jumped back and thought about, oh, I did mess up. You know what I mean? Like
you gave him that look.
I didn't give him a look. I just said, hey, that's one thing about me. Even though I may not deal with you again, I'm cool as ice. I could see my ex. I was married once. I could see him and be like, hey, what's up? How you doing? And keep it pushing. And gotcha. So he was just like. When you're like that, people don't know how to react. It's like, oh my God, is she about to run to the kitchen and grab a knife? It's like, no, I'm over it. And it happened, whatever, hey.
You were so figurative. Yeah. I'm going to throw him off a cliff.
Right.
I'm going to hit him with a car. I'm going to get the knife.
That's my creative side. I'm a visualist.